Great. So thank you all for having us today. It's wonderful to have the opportunity to speak to all of you and hear some questions and think about ways that we can partner. We've been partnering with Cornell Tech on this project, and you'll hear more about that. And so we love to think about ways that we can engage people within the community where exciting projects are being built, and engage them in news efforts to ensure that the construction industry reflects the makeup of our city. And so you'll hear more about that. And so, as you heard a little bit about, NEW was started in 1978. So a little history about NEW is that we were started at a time during the women's movement, and so we work with a lot of organizations that are working to empower and offer opportunities for women. And so now in our 38th year, one of the keys to our success and one of the reasons why Jessica and I have both been there for 8 years, and people and NEW really speaks to folks is that it really offers the opportunity for equal employment. Women that work as carpenters and plumbers and electricians make the same wages as men and have the full benefits for themselves and their family, and we're able to provide those opportunities thanks to our partnerships with the trades. So as an organization, we train 400 women a year. We are in an old firehouse in Chelsea on 20th Street between 7th and 8th Avenues, and we've been there since the early 80s. And so in that old firehouse, there's a shop in the basement, there's 2 classrooms, all of our staff are housed there as well. In 2010, we felt the need to have additional training space, and so we have been in what's now Industry City in Sunset Park in Brooklyn since 2010, and we have a fully outfitted shop there as well for a part of our training program. What our training looks like, it's considered a pre-apprenticeship training program, so it's 7 weeks long is our day program. Our evening program, which is Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday evenings, and a full day on Saturday, is 8 weeks long. And so in those 7 or 8 weeks, successful graduates of our pre-apprenticeship program, they've been proficient in entry-level trades math. They have a OSHA 10 construction safety certificate. They've done a lot of work down in our shop and in our shop in Industry City in carpentry and electrical and painting. They have done interviewing skills and other soft skills as well. And lifting and carrying is a big part of our program. And so at least an hour a day, it's doing some lifting and carrying up our stairs, down the block in Chelsea. One of the requirements is they start out with a 45-pound compound bucket, and how to lift and carry. And by the end of the 7 or 8 weeks, it's a 63-pound compound bucket, up and down the stairs, down the block. And so it's one of the requirements to successfully graduate from us. So classes look like typically 25 women, and we have about a 75% graduation rate. We're really strict on attendance and really low tolerance for latenesses or absences because we're mirroring the construction industry. So the key to our success is that we have what's called direct entry or direct opportunity with the building and construction trades apprenticeship programs. So since 2006, there's been a Mayor's Commission on Construction Opportunity, and thanks to the board members of NEW and other leaders in the construction industry, NEW is one of the very few programs that has that direct entry opportunity. And what that means is that every time the apprenticeship programs start a new class, they set aside 10% of that class for new graduates. So it's our program. It's the Edward J. Malloy Initiative for Construction Skills, which works specifically with high school students and now with some students from Sandy-affected areas that are adults. And it's the Helmets to Hard Hats program. It's a national program, but the New York program of Helmets to Hard Hats started their own nonprofit a few years ago. And so our 3 programs have those direct entry opportunities. So what it looks like is a woman could wait for what's typically a public recruitment process for one of the union opportunities every 2 years, and then you could, some of them you could wait online for, camp out for a weekend, and maybe you get a number, and maybe your number gets called, versus if you come through our program and you're successful because we feel you would be a good tradeswoman and you've met all our requirements, then every time the apprenticeship program starts a new class, and that could be once a quarter depending on the trade, we send qualified candidates directly for those opportunities, and then they go through the rest of the process in terms of interviewing and testing, and be it written test or physical test or other requirements based on the trades. So for new, in the last 10 years alone, we've placed over 1,300 women in the trades, in those unionized apprenticeship programs in the trades. And another over 1,000 women in other opportunities, ComEd being one of our other biggest employers, but in some of the opportunities and industries we mentioned in terms of building operations, and facilities maintenance, and warehousing, and the energy industry, and runs the gamut. So we've had a number of other new initiatives, especially in the past 5 years or so. So just to give myself a breather, I'll let Jessica tell you about some of those.
Good evening, everybody. And the reason that we go after these jobs is because they are high paying, so our jobs average $17 an hour starting off. It has a clear path for career growth, so each year of your apprenticeship you're getting a raise. And then once you complete your apprenticeship, you are averaging about $40 and up an hour to be a skilled tradesperson in New York City. And we work with all the different building and construction trades unions and the other industries that Kathleen mentioned. They also have benefits packages for you and your family, which is important for the women that we serve. About 80% of the women that we serve are low income, and a lot of them are single moms, so that's an important factor for us. And then we want to see them not only get into these careers, but also retain. And so we do a lot on the backside of things to support them and make sure they're continuing their apprenticeship and growing into positions of leadership in their unions, and working on great projects in the city like the Cornell Tech project. So once you graduate from our training program, you work one-on-one with our employment team, depending on what your interests are. And we set up a personalized career plan, and then once you're placed, you're making those great wages, and we continue to offer programming and supportive services for you. We have a full social services department that supports you before you get into our training to make sure that you have childcare and backup childcare and backup to your backup, because construction hours can be very demanding and you need to be available for those overtime opportunities. And make sure that your housing is secure, and any sort of resource that you might need, any assistance that you might need with your public benefits, anything like that, our social services department is there to support you through that. So one of our initiatives that's now in its 6th year is the New Signature Projects program, and Cornell Tech has committed to be a new signature project, and what that means is the project has made a commitment to hiring tradeswomen and having tradeswomen participation on the project. And Cornell Tech specifically is interested in local tradeswomen and tradeswomen throughout New York City. The Signature Projects program is up to 40 projects, and that includes all 4 towers of the World Trade Center, the Barclays Arena, a lot of the work being done at Columbia University, including Manhattanville, the Tappan Zee Bridge, the Kosciuszko Bridge, the Goethals Bridge, a lot of big high-profile mega projects in the city. And what that program does is it keeps tradeswomen working throughout their careers, being able to establish themselves with a company, and completing their apprenticeship and going on into positions of leadership and great things.
So, and one of the things, and Jane touched on it a little bit, and one of the things that we like to do when we partner, particularly on signature projects and with council members as well, is when there's certain areas where construction is happening or where there's a need, or we also partner with NYCHA in particular for women residents of New York City housing projects, is think about ways that we can start our recruitment efforts locally and within the community. New has information sessions about our program in the old firehouse in Chelsea every Tuesday at 10 a.m. and every Wednesday at 6 p.m. And those are open to the community. And that's where we look for women that are over 18, a high school diploma or the equivalent, because that's what most of our employers need, is that high school diploma or equivalent. Think they can lift that 45-pound compound bucket to start with, and want to do this as a career. Those information sessions are open to anyone. And then during those information sessions, we talk a lot more about our program and the employment and career opportunities that we have access to, and it's also a basic assessment for both math and reading at that time. But prior to that, we do like to work with communities, if we can get a critical mass, 15 to 20 plus, and we can have our recruitment manager come out and have tradeswomen come out who can talk about these opportunities much better than we can. And so we're interested in doing that type of effort if that makes sense to you as well.
Okay, thank you very much. So why don't we open it up for questions?